year anniversary. So,
Lauren,
GBC.
start again. We
Oh,
just went live.
oh, I'm blind. Um, hey everybody, welcome to Heathen Talk. I just started over. I hope you're excited as we are, because tonight is the 53rd show, 1 year anniversary of Heathen Talk going live and becoming your favorite podcast. I am here tonight, as always, with my co-host Torin.
Hi.
Joining us as well as our executive producer Toby, and a rare occurrence, our producer Mark is here as well. He brought the gun show tonight.
Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
I'm here. Hello to
So,
everybody who may not
That's
know
what
me.
Mark looks like.
yeah, for
It's
those of
true.
you who've been wondering. So, really excited to be here tonight to see everybody. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming up tonight. We'll have some announcements. We'll have all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's going to be fun. Hey, Torin, you want to talk about social media?
Not really, but I'll talk about it anyway.
Okay.
So, I guess there's a nice surprise for our anniversary show is make Torn do the thing he hates doing. So, as always, you can find us in all of our social medias, such as Twitter, Facebook, which is the one we pay attention to the most, I think. Mark loves it when you bug him on Instagram, don't you, Mark?
Yeah, sure, although I'd like to actually get things to share on Instagram, so if you want to send us anything that you'd like us to share heathen-related, I'll look at it and try to get that done.
That sounds like carte blanche for several heathens I know that are a dab hand with a meme generator. So,
Hey, you
I'm
know
sorry.
what? I'll consider it.
But, always, we're always encouraging you guys to do things in the real world, so maybe pictures of heathens doing things in the real world would also qualify. All of our social media, including the ones that I didn't mention, can be found in aggregate on our website, www.heathentalk.com. And so I will also go ahead and be a complete whore about it and say that since it's our birthday, if you feel the need to give us a gift, there's always our Patreon.
I like presents. It's okay.
I also like presents.
And not only is there our Patreon, if you go to our website, we have all the swag. We have shirts, we have more shirts, we have coffee cups, but you have asked for other things. So tonight it will get posted on Facebook here in just a hot minute. I am happy to announce that we now have a Cafe Press store full of all the things you can't buy on T-Chip, like Heathen Talk steins, Heathen Talk stickers, Heathen Talk pet shirts, and baby onesies.
So if you're looking for other ways to be a corporate shill and do our advertising for us, we would greatly appreciate it.
And fall festival season, get yourself some Heathen Talk swag, wear it out, help other people find out about our podcast. And speaking of events, Torin, I'm going to go ahead and whore out your event for you.
Sweet.
So we have an event coming up, Stone Shore Foreign Said, which is Torin's group, is going to be having a family-oriented pub moot on July 17th. And would you like to tell us a little more about that, Torin?
Sure. We're having it at a place in the U District of Seattle called Schulze's. It's an awesome German sausage place. Great food, great beer. And even though it does serve alcohol, it's not primarily a bar. It's primarily a German sausage place. And weather permitting, we'll be out on the back deck, and families are welcome. If you have any concerns about it or questions, go ahead and drop me a message, and I am happy to answer them. But this will be the second one we're doing. We're trying to make these monthly now for Seattle area heathens. Come check us out.
Awesome. And oddly enough, my group is also having a pub moot. We are going to be out at Cregan's Irish Pub in North Little Rock. Those of you from Arkansas who are listening, all like 4 of you, it's going to be the 16th at noon. We're going to be at Cregan's, which is in Argenta area. It is family friendly. It's like kind of a true pub where you bring the kids, you have a good drink. They have really good pub grub, and you can always, if the weather's not blazingly hot, you could always take your kid on cheap entertainment because the streetcar runs right past there. But definitely check that out if you've got an event coming up. go to our website. Please let me know, because otherwise I'm gonna have to start begging you guys, and you guys are just gonna get tired of it, like we did about Cascadia Moot.
Remember, if you don't have any more events to tell us about, we'll just start talking about next Cascadia Moot.
And also Ozark Moot, which is just entered the planning stages we will be having a moot, and details about that will be coming out here in about a month. So be excited.
All right.
Regional heathenry is happening. So we have a tradition here. Toby, who are we toasting tonight?
We're actually toasting Josh, the founder of Heathen Talk, and who I promise Mark did not eat. And I think I might be next. I mean, no, Josh has just made a life change. He's moved up to Seattle, and he's just got a new job. So his new job schedule conflicts with the taping of the show. So while he's going through training, he's going to be taking a slight hiatus from the show. But Josh is the reason why we're here. He's the one who first proposed this. He's the one who first ambushed Lauren, got Torn on board, dragged me into this, swung Mark around to help us out. And, I see a lot. I've mentioned it before. He's a really good dude. He's a genuinely kind person. He's considerate. He's thoughtful. He's loyal, trustworthy, and brave. He has all of the badges. And he is my friend. And I am very happy to raise a glass to him on the 1-year anniversary of the thing he created. So here's to Josh.
To Josh.
To Josh.
Yo.
Yeah, Josh, once again, Josh made the mistake of posting something on Reddit and people took it seriously. In a joke sub. What? I can't read that.
Wait, what joke sub?
Toby was holding up a sign that I couldn't read because that's not funny. What does it say?
Help me, I think I might be next.
Yeah, for those of you at home who are listening and not watching, Toby has gotten really into like fancy dip what are they called? Dip like pens, like calligraphy.
It's fountain pens.
Fountain pens. Yeah. Fountain pens just like
the latest hipster craze.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like 3 hipster crazes back. So, yeah. But seriously, Josh, he posted it in, basically what should have been a joke turned into this, which honestly I didn't think that we're getting sometimes over 6,000 downloads a week. It's unreal. And I thought maybe 10 people would listen. Basically my friends, Josh's friends. That would be it. And apparently now we're a big deal on the internet.
I think Toby may be writing something.
We've lost Toby.
He looks
Toby,
like
remember
he's
this is
indulging.
This is a podcast. It's an audio. Writing doesn't really work.
Oh, writing always works. But yeah, so Josh, when you hear this, you're a dirty little fucker, and you're gonna get what's coming to you. That said, hey, Lauren, what are you drinking?
I am drinking my last bottle of the Sonoma cider, the seasonal. I've got the pulley. Every bottle I have just gets better. So I'm probably going to have to go buy some more this weekend. But I think this will be the last week of cider for a while. I've been really wanting Riesling. So I think I'm going to go buy me a couple of good bottles of Riesling this weekend before I have a bajillion people in my house and they drink it all. So
Riesling's
maybe
good.
I'll have Riesling next week.
Riesling's good. Gewürztraminer better.
I'm just mad I can't have Lambic anymore. I got this craving for it the other day and I'm like, oh crap. I hate it.
I would be sad if I couldn't have lambics too.
Yeah.
I don't like lambics.
That's because you are a hipster with no taste. I
And
bet if they
after,
were trendy, you would like them.
yeah, and after getting glutened really badly last week, I'm not gonna risk it
Yeah.
because that sucks.
I will strive to find you a gluten-free lambic.
Yeah, I don't
I'll
think that
bet you
that's
one exists.
it does, but and the thing
I'll,
is, if I can find one, my liquor store here is amazing. They will order me anything. Um,
Ghostfish. Just
uh,
look for Ghostfish. Like 99% of what Ghostfish makes is gluten-free.
the
They advertise.
ghost. The problem with the law. Okay, so I live in Arkansas. And Arkansas has weird alcohol importing laws.
Mm.
So because Ghostfish doesn't have a distributor in Arkansas, it's very hard to order it in to a liquor store. That's why, like, Arkansas wines and beers. It makes Arkansas wines and beers priced much more competitively which is nice.
Freedom, America.
Fuck yeah! Oh dang! I already
Sorry,
busted it out, and it's like 11 minutes in.
That's right. We're 2 in now, so I think at this point we just don't give a fuck.
Lauren, what are you drinking?
Who?
You.
Me. Okay, I couldn't tell if you said me or Mark. It was hard to tell. I am drinking. If any of you that actually pay attention to what I drink from week to week, I'm sure there's got to be at least one person that does. Like 2 weeks ago, I think I had something from Left Hand called Good Juju. It was an ale brewed with ginger that I pointed out on air did not taste like ginger ale, thankfully, and it was good, but it was kind of meh. Now there's apparently another there's another side to that particular beer's coin. They call it Wicked Juju. It's an imperial ale brewed with ginger, and that last one was just really super pale and kind of meh. This one is really dark. It poured with the consistency of motor oil, and it is delicious. They used roasted malts in it on this one and bumped up the ABV, and so you get that ginger bite at the beginning. It kind of like falls off into roasted chocolate flavors. It's brilliant. I just can't say enough about this beer, and you should all go buy it and make this company lots of money so they'll keep making it.
They won't.
Shut up, Toby. What are you drinking?
I am drinking my favorite style of beer, extra special bitter from Coniston Brewing Company. It's the Bluebird Bitter. I have never had it before. It's from Belchertown, Massachusetts. I picked it up when I was out for White Marshes Litha. I picked that up in the most hipster neighborhood of Baltimore.
So you felt instantly at home.
Yeah, I did. It was nice. I got pour over coffee, and then charcuterie, and then went to a used bookstore, and then bought a lot of alcohol. It was nice. And that's like within like one block. Here in Boise, I'd have to go like 4.
Sorry, guys.
But it's refreshing. It's light. It's a little it's got a kind of a roasty malt flavor. I like it. I like it pretty much.
How about you, Mark?
Presently nothing. I finished my screwdriver and had to toast with coffee, which is perfectly fine. But, everyone's talking about the beers they're drinking or the trends that they're into, and I'm just sitting here hating the Normans. Yes. Also,
That doesn't
I'm
really work
doing my
unless you
producer duties and trying to not pass along some of these questions that I'm being yelled at. And, Link.
People are asking.
Yeah,
questions.
multitasking.
Yeah.
No, but my buddy Sam is being a arse. So.
Fair enough.
give him a shout out and then flip him off.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about how we got into this. And we've told the story about how Lauren got ambushed by Josh back at Cascadia Moot. But we didn't have Mark's take on it. Mark, how did you end up in this?
I made the offer of using the r/pagan IRC chat room. That's the kind of preliminary chat room for the first show. And the ball just kind of went rolling from there because we don't really make use of other rooms. And so I've kind of been lurking around in the background since. I've actually been around. I got shanghaied before Toby did, so
It's true.
it
Yeah,
was just kind of.
I believe there were many conversations between Josh and I, wondering whether or not you would be willing to help us out with the IRC stuff. And you know what, Mark, you're not on with us every week, but you do a lot, and I
Well,
kind of want
as
to
I can,
sing
yeah.
Mark's praises here for a minute because he helps me with editing. He does, he deals with all of you guys, and
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, let's be clear. You say you're not on every week, but he really is.
yeah. Well, you don't.
Unbeknownst to the rest of you, Mark
Yeah.
is right here in the hangout with us. He's just got his camera turned off and his microphone muted, so you'll never see him. But
What I
he-
mean to say, he's not somebody that everyone sees every week.
Mm-hmm.
But we could not do the show without him. He is probably, I hate to say it, but the show could probably suffer the loss of most any of us but him.
Well,
And-
thank you.
So I really appreciate everything that you're doing.
Well, if my life wasn't so crazy right now,
Yeah,
it would
well,
be a lot better. But it's one of those things that Josh isn't the only one going through some major life changes right now. So
that is true. I think several of us are, and that kind of does make things more difficult. For those of you who noticed, there was a big episode dump this week, and there will be another one this weekend. And
Yeah.
then hopefully beyond that, we'll stay pretty caught up. I started a new job, and that kind of just threw me all. Yeah, it was. It was weird, and it was a lot to learn in a very short amount of time.
It's an interesting thing because this has been 53 episodes nonstop, with a lot of this time last year when y'all started, and actually I was on that first episode. I barged
you
in.
never left.
Oh, I did. I left for blessed 6 weeks. It was
Yeah,
glorious.
Torin is the one that showed up and never left.
yeah, that's me.
Um,
Somebody said something wrong on the internet, no less.
Yeah, so Torin is the one who actually showed up and didn't leave. But yeah, it really isn't. It's I kind of feel like tonight there's a little bit of pulling back the curtain and kind of talking about the behind the scenes because there's a lot of people think we just show up every week and talk for 90 minutes, but there's a lot of work that goes into this, and it's more than just doing the podcast because for some reason people seem to think we're experts. And
By sheer force of doing.
yeah, and so we get interesting comments. We get interesting Facebook messages and emails. And yeah, it's something. Whew.
yeah, I mean, we're just a bunch of people trying to do right, or do it less wrong, I think is the best term.
I do it wrong pretty often. It's all right.
Well, we won't talk about the thing with the sheep.
Yeah,
Anyway.
well,
Moving on. But yeah, we get there's a lot of regular questions. There's been a couple of drama spats. There's been some some of our articles went over well. Some of them went over not so well. Then there's also the there's what, 5 of us now, 6 of us with our staff writer.
And yeah, it's and trying to get 2 heathens, let alone 5 heathens, to agree on things is something.
Yeah, and we all come from different traditions. We all have different philosophies. We some of the stuff we argue about on air for your benefit and entertainment. Some of the stuff stays under wraps for our benefit and entertainment, and some of the stuff just doesn't matter.
I mean, you gotta admit, considering our disparate backgrounds as heathens, I think we do pretty well. I mean, we've got you, the Theodsman. We've got Josh, who's the non-Theodish Anglo-Saxon heathen. We got me, who's just a straight-up Cascadian heathen that Josh is aspiring to be. And I can say that because he's not here to defend himself.
Oh.
Mark is the Pasta-True. And Lauren, the, I don't know, Appalachia-True?
Apple, what? Whoa, hold on now.
I can't keep track of what you guys call your hills out there. I'm sorry. You live in the Ozark Hills.
I live in the foothills, yeah, between the Washdalls and the Ozarks. But generally, yeah, I mean, there is a pretty large, I will admit there's a pretty large Norse, Scandinavian, Icelandic influence in what we do, because we have some really old kindreds here, number one, and number two, because my dear kindred brother speaks Old Norse. So it just tends to work itself in, and Swedish. And that's why we sing the bunny song. But that's another story.
Well, you know, he knows more Swedish than I do, so.
Yeah. Yeah, you can learn it on that little app, that Duolingo app.
But I'd have to try.
Yeah, well, I did for about 2 weeks, and then I got bored.
Yeah, I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I would
one of
have
those
to.
things where it's just,
I'd kind of have to have somebody, you know, with me doing it at the same time. If I didn't have anybody to speak Swedish to, I would have. You
well,
know,
that's the problem.
That's the kind of the problem that Ben has with. I mean, he reads and writes it so well, but like on Java Mall, he sometimes he gets critiqued about his pronunciation because there's just not many, even just regular old Icelandic speakers for him to talk to around here.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't know anyone in this state that speaks Icelandic but him. But you know, it's we're kind of one of those. We've been around now. We're going on our 12th year as a kindred, and so we just kind of are us, and we do our thing, and other people may disagree with what we do, and other people may agree with it, and that's fine. But I'm a big fan of, holy crap, that works, let's keep doing it.
So, yeah, point being, I don't think any of us do it the same way.
No.
But,
No.
No.
But that's okay.
But
Because
that's what-
strength and diversity, blah blah.
Well, and not just that, because our opinions are so different on things, I think that we are able to do something that a lot of people on the internet, and for those of you who are friends with me on Facebook, y'all have already heard some of this, but the internet is so uncivilized, and it's not a has gotten uncivilized, it's a, someone is wrong on the internet. And we are able to come in and have these conversations, and while we may get loud and we may agree aggressively or whatever, the fact of the matter is we can have discussions, not fights, and not shout downs and not name calling. We can behave like adults, and that is something to me that is so important. And a big part of it is because, I mean, I'm doing a podcast with 4 other people that I consider my friends, and I flew 2,000 miles to go hang out with because that doing this podcast has kind of brought us together in that friendship, and that's something, if nothing else comes out of this podcast, that is something I'm really grateful for.
Talking face to face is always a little bit different than talking over the internet. It's just one of the things it is. I think it's hard enough to put the internet is an interesting phenomenon in that it's incredibly easy to put your ideas forward, but it's also incredibly hard to get to communicate them in a way that you don't have any of those context clues of, oh, I am making this person upset, or oh, I am running over this person, or it's impossible to gauge how your message is landing and adjust your message in such a way as to actually communicate what it is you're trying to say. I think the fact that we do this face to face over the internet instead of on the internet, if that makes sense, that it's still face to face conversation. We're still looking at each other. We're still gauging the reactions to each other. Helps in a lot of ways. But the fact of the matter is, people are going to disagree and they're going to yell and scream about it. And really, it's about what you do after the yelling and screaming.
And see, this is where Toby and I disagree. To me, it's not about what you do after the yelling and screaming. It's how did you get to the point that you're yelling and screaming? And this is coming from somebody who is like really good at yelling and screaming. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I used to spend all my time arguing on the internet, like it was like the internet was going to go away. And the fact of the matter is, it's just gotten to the point where I don't know. I just have to disagree with you, Toby, because I think that there is room for civility that's lacking on the internet in general, and it's not just in heathen circles. It's not, it's in every circle. I mean, oh Lord, you have not been around a bunch of people that can yell and scream at each other like Duggar fans. Seriously, Duggar fans are, heathens have nothing on Duggar fans.
The hell's a Duggar fan?
Yeah,
People who love the Duggar family, the 19 kids of family people.
Oh, God, they have fans?
Oh, it's and then they have fans and they have anti-fans, and when the two collide, So people get passionate about things, but I don't know. I like it because we can come together and actually have a conversation. Sometimes I feel like it's just a lot of shouting, seeing who can shout the loudest.
I don't know. I like being the producer, so I can throw my headphones off in anger, and nobody knows. Everybody thinks I'm just sitting there being civilized. Nope. Headphones across the room. Hit the cat. Cat's running around, breaking crap.
Suddenly all is made clear, or would be made clear if I didn't know you text me with
It's true.
I threw my headphones across the room.
Also,
it's true.
Mark, be honest, your cat's not running around the room. Your cat is lying in a doorway bathing itself in frozen peas.
Well, no, they're not frozen. They're dry, but yeah. And that only
I thought they were
once a
frozen.
year. No, they were dry.
Yes,
one
ladies and
pound
gentlemen,
dry
this was
peas.
an actual occurrence that took place during an episode of Heath and Talk.
About 3 or 4 months ago.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's an adventure, and speaking of animals, we've had a few strange and interesting animal incidents on this show.
It's true.
Torrin's dog shows up quite a bit. My two show up. Back when we first got Eddie, y'all heard a lot of my dogs. So it's been pretty interesting.
Was
So-
anyone else there waiting for the dogs to start pick up?
Sort of. Was kind of wondering.
'Cause that was. Let's just, you're not supposed to call out dead air, but let's call out that dead air because it was funny.
Yeah. My poor dogs. They're so I actually went through and pulled out some comments from our YouTube channel.
Are they
Oh.
the really
That was
good
interesting.
ones?
Oh, some of these are hilarious. The first one is my favorite, though. This is from our episode. We did one of our very first episode, our LBGT episode, in which someone simply said, "What a bunch of adults! What a waste of time! You guys really have nothing better to do." No, we don't. Sorry.
I'm sure if we
And-
did, we'd be doing them.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Arkansas. You really think I have better things to do? And then there were some good ones on our face-to-face heathenry episode, which I think is probably I think of all of the episodes that we have done, that one probably stirred up more shit than anything else that we've done.
How does get out there and meet people stir up shit?
We
Because it's
may,
hard.
well, that, and if you guys remember, that was the episode where we talked about virtual bloat.
Mm.
Which,
Oh, so we don't care about the ones that disagree with us because they're wrong. Really, really, like, disturbingly, damagingly wrong.
yeah, and like, it's just not a thing. It's just words mean things, and that is not what words mean. And we got called all kinds of, and I believe that's what started our, I don't think I want to call it a feud, but our notice of a certain group that I'm not going to name because they're not getting the airtime, who we have written several, actually, I say we, Toby has written a few expose pieces on. Let me tell you what, Toby has turned into a right good journalist. I'm pretty proud.
Well, I'll call them out. The Austrian,
Yellow.
because one, they seem to think we're Voldemort, and we are they who shall not be named. And two, I'm not gonna talk around them. I had some serious concerns about the way that they were running their show and the way that they were presenting themselves. Those concerns have been touched on. I'm still not confident that spending money with them is in any way a good use of your hard-earned dollars. I don't care if you stole it from your grandmother or your mother. Probably better off spending it somewhere else.
But not on Culture of the Teutons because, stolen reasons.
If
But
you
I
want to
didn't say
read Culture of the
that. Sorry.
Teutons, if you want to read Culture of the Teutons, go to the Accessible Heathenry Project, download the really nice, clean PDF file I have, or EPUB or whatever, and take it to Kinko's. Or actually, I will endorse take it to Staples. Take it wherever. Take it to a print shop.
Or
and
you
get
know,
it printed.
you can always do what I did. I went to Amazon.com and found a used copy to buy.
Yeah, that too.
So, and you know what? It was in brand new quality.
And if you just want the Kindle, we got it at Accessible Heathenry Project. Or if you want an audio accessible, I can do that too. But yeah, don't support certain vendors who are not using your money wisely.
Certain organizations that
Like I'm not saying
may or may not have
saying
somebody else's work
or stolen money from their mother. Yeah.
Soren's lagging out.
Oh no.
So we got that going for us.
Yeah, Google Hangouts, keeping it real.
Seriously.
It's been
We
perennial
never
problem
have
day
technical
one.
problems here.
No, especially not Torn. It's been a while since Torrens had technical problems.
Technical problem.
And
Yes.
yeah, cute.
I keep expecting it to be me because I'm stuck on DSL, and I have very limited bandwidth to play with.
Torn will be back, so that's good. So yeah, I totally lost my train of thought. So we have. Let me tell you what. Just some other brief highlights. We have been called Wiccans. We've been called racists and commies about the same thing, which just always kind of cracks me up. We're too conservative for some people and too liberal for others, which in my mind puts us in a good place. We have started so many shitstorms, and I'm proud of every one of them, because what we have done, if I'm going to just say here, what we have done, what Toby has done, what Josh has done especially, because they have been the driving force between those two things, has brought attention to things that people just, we dismiss some behavior from certain people as, that's just crazy Uncle Steve or whatever, but the fact is, they need to be called out just as much as everybody else. You know, if you're doing something that's so blatantly, grossly racist, you know, you kind of need to call that out. And and then, you know, the stuff with the Asatru community and you know, I mean, because of what Toby did, you had multiple veterans organizations, heathen veterans organizations, with completely different theological viewpoints. You know, the Focus to the Troth and all this come together and say, hey, this group is not doing what they say they're doing, and we're issuing a joint statement. And, you know, for those of you who've been around heathenry for any length of time, that's a big deal, and that's all Toby. Toby was, you know, the catalyst behind that.
I don't like Seth, and I hope he's wrong.
I don't like.
Well, you can say that we don't back down, and
No.
you know, when we make an announcement, we don't cut and run because people are talking crap about us. I'm looking at you, ATN, but you know, whatever. Dealing with the public is hard, and you know, some people just shouldn't do it.
I think it's mostly just because we don't say anything unless we truly believe that it's the correct thing to say, and therefore why would we back down from it under the pressure of criticism from people that we don't respect?
Mm-hmm.
I just get called fat.
Well, you know, that's because
Ugly.
That's because, you know, you're a woman, and it's just the same way as in politics. Everybody will make comments about female candidates' choice of pantsuit, and whether or not they match another female candidate's pantsuit, never pointing out that all of the men are wearing exactly the same suit.
We do talk about Donald Trump's hair, though, as a society. So we're making progress.
Well, Donald Trump's hair isn't a fashion thing.
Donald
It's
Trump's hair is
a
its own
question of
being.
whether or not he has a parasitic organism controlling his brain from
Can we
the top.
please bring it back? To
But yeah, I mean, you know, it's been crazy. I mean, you know, every day I'm kind of like, I'm amused that I wake up and holy crap, I'm on a podcast that people like. I'm not sure what to do with myself. Really. And I listened to that first episode today. Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
Painful. It was painful. Please don't. And just be happy that the first video of that is completely like in the ether, because it was not it was bad. It was really bad. And but
There was
you know, our
video for
second
the first one?
episode. Huh?
Yeah, there
was video for the first one?
cameras on.
Yeah, it's I'm not going to I'll tell you where it is afterwards. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there was video for the first one. It's just not we didn't have the Heathen Talk email address at that point. We had a Twitter and a Facebook. No, we didn't have Facebook. We had a Twitter, and that was it. And we had a Libsyn account. And that was pretty much it. That was the complete infrastructure, and I thought we were going to get to talk about like logoing and all this other stuff, and Josh just throws me on the air. And I came in it I'll admit, I came in at kind of a disadvantage because Torrin and Josh and Toby all know each other. They do other things together. They run a subreddit together and have met, and so let me tell you what, I was kind of glad when we brought in Mark, because then we finally had somebody else who wasn't a Reddit mod for our Asatru.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a Reddit mod, but I'm not a Reddit mod for our Asatru. But yeah, I mean, the point was, you know, just to kind of be like, it could be a little intimidating, but at the same time, it's been a lot of fun. And I want to say, just kind of shout out to that kind of original, you know, the OG listeners, the people from Reddit who listened that first night, who've been there every episode, who've given us all that encouragement. I can't even name all of you, but that's a group that has been there since the very beginning, has heard our absolutely horrible shows, and really do appreciate you guys for sticking around. So do we have questions? If you have any questions, please get them on IRC. Somebody will see them. Me, Mark, somebody.
Yeah. Questions about the show, questions
Yeah.
for the hosts. It's we're going kind of meta here.
Ask us anything.
And you got to do something because, to be perfectly honest with you, we didn't have any plans for tonight
Yeah.
other than to be completely meta. So we're only 40 minutes in. We're not even halfway through.
So I'm going to
I
ask
have
you
a
guys.
question.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a question. Why? Why do you do this? What is the point? And I'm going to ask everyone. Mark, I'll start with you since you're our guest of honor.
What?
Why do you do this?
Something to
Why
do.
are you helping out?
And I can help. And it means I can actually put my money where my mouth is and say, hey, I do something, maybe not a capital S something, but a lowercase s something. And I don't know. It looks good. Say, hey, I have this hobby that's actually pretty successful. And again, it intersects. I mean, I blog a lot. Other than the knot and column I use for Heathen Talk, I have 3 different types of blogs that I am affiliated with, one of which is turning into a major Heathen initiative, and, you know, I like to actually have it all intersect and work well together.
And what's that initiative?
Oh, you son of a bitch.
I
I am
would
on
like you
the
to talk about it like that, Mark.
Larwatan of the Larhus Francida with Woodgar. It's a non-Theodish Anglo-Saxon initiative in order to bring about a progress of heathen understanding in an Anglo-Saxon context. And we're actually going to be pushing into some new directions fairly soon as I finish this massive piece I'm working on for it, which is easily over 4,500 words right now.
So when you finish it, you and Woodgar coming on to talk about it and talk about the initiative?
I
Thank
will.
you so much,
I mean,
Mark. You're a wonderful guy. We love to have you. I appreciate
But
you
I
writing
don't
down
know
on
if
the
Woodgar is. You know, he's
this is now a binding contract.
It's
I will
true.
see you as soon as you
It's
finish
true.
that.
Okay, I'll
I
make
heard
sure and take my time.
That was a
Witness.
steamroll.
Nah. Actually, we have
Torin,
some
why do you
questions.
do this?
Because somebody was wrong on the internet. No, seriously, I came out. I came on the first time and didn't actually talk about the reason I wanted to come on the first time. Funny enough.
No, you just kind of popped in.
Well, that was the thing. I was kind of chatting with Josh on the side, and it was because I believe it was in the first episode that a conversation of having something to do with Heath was what it was. I think
was that we were talking
it had something to do
about-
with recognition.
Yeah, recognition.
And the thing was, I mean, you guys weren't doing a bad job, but you were doing as good of a job as you could for a group of people that nobody had any insight on the topic from any perspective of having been in or dealt with the subject before. And I was kind of chatting with Josh on the side a little bit about it, and I wasn't in a position right away where I could just jump on my computer and pop in and help out, but I'm like, I'll pop on when I get home. And because I wasn't home from work yet, and I got home later on, and by that time, the conversation had moved on to such a point where it didn't make a damn bit of sense for me to actually talk about that, so we talked about the other things.
The last one.
And then I just
I don't have any.
sort of stuck around
Wait.
because I enjoyed talking. And now that I'm done talking for a minute,
It's Josh.
What's up, guys?
we have
Hey.
Josh with us,
Josh, you looking good?
Thank
the
you.
founder of Heathen Talk. Managed to make it on.
Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta kill my camera so that I'm not lagging quite so hard.
So, Josh, I asked a question of the group, and since you're now here, you get to answer it. And it's an excellent
What
question.
happened to
for
me
you to
being the
answer.
boss?
Oh, hey.
You're on sabbatical.
Yeah, we also announced that.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. So what's the question?
Why?
We did.
Why are you doing this? Why did you start this? Why are you doing it?
That's a really good question. Some days I don't know. In reality, the question came up over a year ago about heathen media, and I brought up that, there wasn't any good podcasts out there. And I figured someone should create one if there was an interest. And there was an interest. So since I opened my fat mouth, I decided I should create one. After Lauren browbeat me over it.
There you go.
But what do you hope to accomplish? Like it's been a year now. You've been doing this. We've been doing this for 53 weeks. What are your hopes?
Honestly, I want to see this grow, and I want more heathen content to pop up. I want more people providing good conversation and good entertainment. And I want to see this be a tool to drive heathenry in not a new direction, but further along in the direction it's been taking.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Lauren, why do you do this?
I kind of have the same answer as Josh. Some days I don't know, but I worked in radio for a very long time and loved it. But what I didn't like was the industry and how it changed. And it went from being an industry where we actually cared about our listener, and our goal was to provide content, good content, quality content, to basically something that just was like money generation machine. And I can, if anyone wants to hear the details of that, I have a pretty nice long rant about it, but it's not really appropriate for here. So when I had been talking about doing a podcast with my husband since we started dating, and we've been together almost 6 years, 5 years, yeah. So I had kind of the podcast bug, and I'm a big podcast fan, so when Josh brought up doing a heathen podcast, I'm like, yeah, this is something I could do, because I'm not a great writer. I'm not somebody who can just, whip out, like, amazing essay on heathenry, and, it takes me a long time to write things. And I think that there is just, this place for conversation that doesn't always happen. And, I like it. I love I continue to do it because I've fallen in love with the show, with the fans, with just the process, and it feels good to get on here and talk and like actually have conversations with people I don't know that I would get to have conversations with about these topics, because I don't, I'm not in a heavily heathen, densely populated area.
Fair enough. Why do I do this?
Yeah, why do you do it?
Why do I do this?
Besides being shanghaied into it.
Yeah.
Because I want heathenry to be better. Because it has meaning and provides that meaning, and it's a worthwhile meaning that people can build a life around. It's, if you understand, if you have a heathen worldview, you can build a life for yourself and for your children and those around you that is successful and fulfilling, and to be an example for other people to pick up that idea and move it forward. And it's really easy to get out there and establish yourself as an expert. And if I didn't care, I could go out there and say whatever I wanted to, and get 10,000 followers on Facebook, and then just really validate people instead of challenging them. No. You keep doing these behaviors that are acting to your own detriment, and you keep doing these things that sabotage your future success. You do you. I mean, the most dismissive thing I know to say is you go do you. It was a long-running joke for many years on the sub that how's that working out? Let me know how that works out for you. Was my way of checking out of a conversation because there was never going to be any progress. So Heathen Talk offers me a platform and a podium to talk about these ideas and to challenge people and to be challenged by people. And if I didn't think I was having an impact, if I didn't think I was doing some good, there's a board game night every Wednesday downtown that I could go hang out with and play 1,000 rounds of Cards Against Humanity and be just as happy on a Wednesday night and need less work to do it. So that's why I do it. Josh, you had something you wanted to bring up?
Yeah, so as was previously announced, I am currently on kind of a sabbatical, working out job stuff. I work a shit schedule, it just is what it is. But I wanted to take a few minutes and thank everyone who listens to Heathen Talk. You guys have made this worth doing for the last 53 weeks. And you've made all of our efforts and tears and frustrations have meaning. And I can't express my appreciation enough for that. I also want to thank Lauren for pushing me to actually get this off the ground, and I want to thank Mark and Toby and Torin and Ashley and everyone who's come on board and made Heathen Talk great. I mean, we have a wonderful group of people working on this. We have wonderful fans. I couldn't be happier about the way things have gone, and I can't wait to see what this grows into over the next year. I do have to go catch a bus, so I have to get off of here. But as soon as we get my schedule worked out, I will be a regular fixture again. And that was a train. And I can't wait to talk to you guys again.
Josh, you keep doing what you're doing.
Glad you could come on.
Yep.
I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Thanks, bud.
Better, Josh. So, now, wait, did he say something about another year?
Yeah.
I thought we'd reached our goal and we were done.
No. We're not done. We're still going to be here, and that actually kind of brings up. We do have a question, and I want to get to this because I think it's actually a good one. I'm going to start with Torin, and see where do you see Heathen Talk in the future? You know, next year, what range of topics do you want to cover? I'm not going to say the question is, are you looking to cover, but I want to know what you want to cover.
There's so many things, and it's honestly, that's a hard question to answer when I haven't been actively thinking about it at some point in the last 10 minutes. Because, like, my whole goal with where, if I was 100% in charge of where Heathen Talk went, it would be to just keep gauging where things are at in the Heathen, small C community at large. What is it that people are lacking? What are we seeing out there that people aren't understanding, or that they, what's being fought over? Even as a really good one is giving your perspective on things that are being fought over. Just recently I've seen discussions on, whether or not there's criteria for being heathen. That's a great topic.
We lost
And
you.
Keeping up with stuff like that and trying to provide.
Torin, bud, kill your video.
I did. Am I back now?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, now I'm back. Okay, because that I think that's just like a good thing for our 1-year anniversary is looking back to when Torin had nothing but technical difficulties all the time.
We had a nice spell there,
Uh,
and then
Yeah, apparently. Like I said, tonight it's just for old time's sake. But no, all I was saying is, look at the topics that people are fighting about, and get in there and add our perspective to it. Try to add as well as we can a rational voice to the maelstrom. So I don't know that there's any specific topics for the next year I can think of right now, as much as just to say, look at the topics that need to be discussed. Try to actually do our best to have an informed and educated opinion on it, and get out there and let people know.
What about you, Toby?
Oh, I want to talk about things that are going to challenge our audience. It's going to push them out of their comfort zone. It's going to drive the conversation forward. I want to talk about ritual. I want to talk about bloat. I want to talk about sumble. I want to talk about honor and the concept of rightness and trueness. I want to talk about. I would like to revisit some of our older topics and talk about them again, extending the conversation. I would like to review and push these topics forward every time. I'd like to have more regional heathenry interviews. We were getting kind of good at that, but we kind of tapered off in the last couple of months. I'd like to have some more regional heathens on to talk about what they're doing in their region, and I'd like to get somebody from the Southwest up here. I'd like to get somebody from the Upper Midwest. I'd like to get somebody from Europe. I'd like to talk to some people that are doing actual scholarship. These are the things that I really want to see us do in the future. It just takes a lot of work.
Mark?
well, I mean, one, I'm the guy behind the curtain. Don't pay much attention to me. And two, I don't know where I'm going to be living in 4 weeks, let alone what I want to see this podcast go in a year.
Fair enough.
But, I mean, I'm at the point where I am beyond frustrated with the current state of cyclical conversation and heathenry around the net, around everywhere, books, anything. So anything we can do in order to push beyond that, either by moving forward with the idea of getting publications out, moving forward with the idea of, going beyond the basics in a more concrete and formal way, making it accessible, but at the same time making it to the point where we're pushing into the 200s and 300s of the level of coursework is the way I look at it. But I mean, it's all in due time. We have to kind of work and see what's going to come from that. But that's what I would like to see. And like I said before, I do a lot of stuff on my own, and that's where I focus. And I think we would be better off as a whole if there were more people that were doing that instead of constantly fighting about things on the internet that have been fought over for the past 15 years.
Seriously, guys, I got into a discussion today, and so I went and searched on my Gmail and saw almost exactly the same discussion happen on our Mead Hall in September of 2004.
Well, it's like that. I mean, I don't want to bring up old crap, but I mean, that
and then it was on
stupid,
Usenet in
that
96.
stupid Rainbow Heathenry article that was topical freaking 2003. Like,
Yeah.
come on, get over it. Either put your ear to the ground and just listen to what's coming out and what people are talking about, or don't. And it's just insufferable at one point, and I don't know.
I'm there with you. For me,
Go ahead.
go ahead, Toby.
The problem with this is that everybody knows how they feel about Loki. Everybody knows what. Everybody has all their arguments lined up, and they're just waiting for the chance to fire them off. When you start to push people into thinking about things like the concept of sin, or the idea of sacred being dangerous, or the idea of, what frith means when you have to share frith with shitty people, like these kinds of topics are really, they either push people to go no and shut themselves off, or they just sit there blankly and not even process what it is you're telling them. It's a frustrating state to be in, and I really hope we can break out of that.
If not even, not to interrupt what Lauren was going to say, but even if we don't break people out of it, we can be there when they get to that point. They can look and be like, oh, hey, they can come back and see, oh, we've talked about this already. Maybe we can use this as reference. Maybe we can push forward in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
My thing, what I want to do, and I'm, Toby and I, one of the things I think that really makes kind of this show work, as much as Toby and I can agree aggressively, he and I come at this from two very different points of view. I'm very practical. I put out an article today on frith, and it wasn't about the history of frith or the meaning of frith. It's about the practicalities of frith. And I really want to see us do more shows on practicalities, on doing, because we are an orthopraxic religion. It is right action is the top of the pyramid here. So teaching, doing that with right action, I just think that's important. Also, I want to continue to cover the topics we've covered, and to be able to, I apologize, guys. I looked at IRC, and that was a mistake because I got distracted.
Oh, shiny.
Yeah, it is shiny. I want to be able to talk about applying these things, not just, getting into that 200, or in my college it's 2,000 and 3,000 level classes, where we talk about things, but we also not just talk about the deep, scholarly stuff, but we talk about, and somebody is questioning about the practicalities of frith. My article is about how to practically apply frith in a bad situation. Not frith being practical, but practical in the sense of practicing. So just to clarify that for you guys, go read it. It's on Heathen Talk. I'm pretty proud of it because it's, it's my kind of thing. But yeah, I want to talk application. I want to talk about doing, and I want to talk about more about, I want to do more ladies' nights, which we have one coming up in August. So that's going to be really exciting. Regional heathenry, definitely. And also, I kind of want us to start talking about, maybe moving into feasts, moving into some of the other topics that we haven't touched on. And I think that there's a place for us to go where it is still appealing to someone who's new, but yet contains content that enriches people who aren't. I want to learn something as I'm presenting. I kind of hope our show gets to the point that we're kind of like Animaniacs. Kids liked it. It was really funny, but there were adult jokes too that were really fun. So I want to get us to the point where a new person can come in and listen and enjoy it. Maybe not catch everything, but they enjoy it. And people who've been around for a while can really get more deep understanding from it. And I think that that is the balance that I personally am striving for, but I fall short because that's a very lofty goal.
Well, we have, like I said in the IRC, we have 6 people who are officially with, us
Yeah.
as an entity. So, I mean, we each bring something to the table, and we each have our specialty. I mean, we all have our goals, and I think as a platform, we are suited to doing very, a disparate group of ideas, and we can put forward things, and each of us can work towards that underneath that goal.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that that's important, is that in as much as you heard a really huge, like, kind of disparity of what we wanted to do, at the end of the day, we all share that common goal that we want to make heathenry better. And I think that in and of itself is, I won't say enough, but it's definitely kind of the tie that binds, if you will.
Your comment on Ladies' Nights did remind me that an addendum to my earlier answer is that I do plan on doing more military coup episodes.
I'm actually have been approached by somebody, and I may do a hybrid military ladies' night, because I have several military women who've approached me about, or people who said get this person on. So we'll have to coordinate that. But I'm looking at, ladies' night coming up. I have one guest pretty much confirmed, and then I've got a plan, I think, at this point. But it'll be the first or second week of August. We hadn't scheduled it yet, and that's going to depend on if I have to go take care of some family business that first week.
I think my next military coup episode is going to be about how veterans understand tribe better than you, and you need to realize that.
I agree with you there. Because I had a much easier time explaining the concept of community and tribe to my Christian friend who was in the Navy than I did to a guy that I know who is a I'm really trying not to be an asshole. He is like the poster child for white pride heathenry. Let's just gonna put that there. Yeah, oh god, that's a whole nother story. Once again, ask me about it off the air, guys. But because he does listen to the show and he knows I'm talking about him. I've called him that to his face. But he didn't grasp it as much as my friend who's a Christian who was in the Navy. He's like, oh, I get it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's and I kind of mentioned that that lead-in is a bit of a joke, but it's how the military heathen understands, or the veteran period understands tribe better than most, and needs tribe better than most, or more than most.
Yeah.
I guess is part of why I want to definitely have that conversation on air. But
I totally agree with you, though.
But yeah, so there's my addendum. That's one of the things that will definitely happen in the second year.
Another thing that's going to happen in the second year, and this is actually something I've been preparing to do and talked about with my kindred, but under the Heathen Talk banner, I know I've talked to you guys about it. Once I finish summer school, because summer school's eating my soul. I am planning on starting the weekly children's book podcast as well with some other people, where we're gonna start out with, I believe, Odin's Children, reading that aloud, and then we'll move through some other public domain mythology, and then may have some other authors that give us permission to use some of their work.
I could probably get you permission of someone, at least. There is a local heathen author up in Clifton Park. I wanted to get her on for one of the authors' nights.
Yeah,
but
we've got one of my kindred cousins is a children's book author too, and so. But
let's not
forget
forget Josh Heath too. I bet we could get some permissions from him.
But the idea is, I want to provide something that is. I want to do something that is family oriented because I love you guys and stuff, but the kids are also something else that have to be thought about. I don't know a nice way to, I think that that's important too.
The children. Why? Why?
I believe the children are our future. Teach them, let them lead the way. Yes, I have a pretty solid Cartman singing voice.
I think having a topic on just teaching, the just teaching heathenry would be
Yes.
an interesting topic to pursue.
Well, I find.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry. No. Nope.
I think the idea of practicality and theory is, I think it's an interesting combination, and I think it's an important one. I had you know what?
Yeah. I will say though,
Blood fanning and symbol. Why you're doing them all wrong.
Teaching. I think that there's also that fact that teaching, because that's something that. Those of you who listen to the show is kind of my pet peeve. I get very irritated when everyone's answer to anyone new is go read a book, when they don't acknowledge that there are people with visual disabilities, reading disabilities. There are people who have 2 jobs and a house full of kids, and
yeah, but alternatively, and
it's
I'm going to pull
impractical.
your line out. I'm going to disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to invest as much in you as you're going to invest in learning. And if you're coming to me and just asking, what do? I'm going to give you the answer that takes just as long to answer as it does to ask.
But there are other ways of learning than reading a book.
Well, yeah, but those
That's all
take
I'm saying.
more effort.
That's why I think teaching is an important thing to talk about, because there are multiple ways that people learn. I was trying to support your topic, Toby. Dang it! Why do we always do this? I was trying to say I think it's a great thing.
I mean, it's like that conversation we had on the subreddit, and I don't want to veer too far in that direction for the people who don't go there, but I mean, you have people who are heathen who have been heathen for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and they can't articulate positions because it's just something that's not talked about, because it's not something, or whatever position, be it how they approach daily practice, how they approach things like Hearth Cult, which is what I'm focusing a lot of my effort in right now, spoiler alert. And it's just even be able to just speak either towards methodology, or practicality, or even the practical application of certain theories. It's just, I mean, going back to what we want to come from this, I would like to push towards that at least a little bit. Maybe not entirely the focus of the show, or even the columns that we write, but at the same time, I'd like to, we've set the foundation. Let's build up a few stories at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there really is so many places that we could go, and I'm going to do a little bit of a cop-out here, but a lot of what we do is because we get feedback from someone or we get a question. So if there is something you want us to talk about, once again, go email us. I mean, every single one of us has an email address. It's our first name @heathentalk.com. Super easy to find. Or you can email hosts@heathentalk.com and get me, but I can forward it to everyone. It goes to everyone, but I'm not usually the one who reads it. You can, Facebook, Twitter, there's so many avenues where you can get a hold of us and give us your ideas. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and that's going to be, that helps us too, because, I will admit, we do spend a pretty decent amount of time talking to each other. And when you talk to some people for that great a time, you
Echo
can
chamber.
Yeah, it can, and so, and something else that kind of has come to mind. I hope we're able to diversify and have, other things on other than kind of, regional heathen or theodish. I would love to have, and something that I keep trying to do, and then it just hasn't happened due to life is, I want to talk to some of the other traditions that are out there, such as your Galway. I don't really know anything about it. I would learn something from that episode. Or, just things like that. I want to be able to get on and talk to, like I said, get heathens on from, oh, I hate to say it, but oh, I can get Marcel on maybe.
Yeah, Marcel, calling you out. Get on here.
Yeah. And also, or there's groups and there's kindreds in Costa Rica. There's groups in all kinds of things. And I'd
Well,
also,
I mean, those can be canned
yeah.
episodes too. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
have to be live just
No, they
because of the
don't.
time difference.
And then the other thing is that I want to, that there was one other one that really was sticking out in my mind, and now it's completely lost. But there's so many things that we haven't really touched on that there's out there. So if you have a topic, if you have a good guest idea, if you want to be on the show, reach out to us. I'm always open to new and exciting things. And hearing about, just hearing about what you're interested in too, because otherwise we literally steal topics off Facebook and Reddit. Not gonna lie to you.
We also have, I mean, to be fair, we also have a list of topics that we want to get to over time.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be thinking of things as well. Just trying to. And if I have to come on and help host, I will. So, I mean,
Sweet.
there's that crap.
Now,
Yeah.
written down,
awesome.
signed. It's a contract. You can't get out of it.
That's
So,
fine. However, who knows, again, living situation.
Yeah. And yeah, I really think that there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm really excited about them. I'm excited about the possibilities that are coming forward. One more question I want to get to because it's been asked. As the audience has grown, has our vision for the show changed? I want to speak for me because of all of you guys, I've actually been on in officially here the longest. Yes and no. No, because my main goal when I do this show, and it's selfish, but I think it's the only way I can keep doing this show, is I want to have fun. And my vision for the show has always been to be entertaining and to be fun and educational, but not in a dry, boring, Ben Stein lecture kind of, I want it to be fun and entertaining and engaging, something that you can play for a non-heathen and they would still get some entertainment value out of it. And so that's really kind of my vision for the show. I will say my vision for Heathen Talk as a brand, and I'm going to toss that word out there because I work for a marketing firm, is my vision for Heathen Talk as a brand, though, has changed. We've gone from one podcast to a podcast network. We have other projects in the pipe that will branch us out into other forms of media. Though I guess we're technically like a clothing line too, since we launched the bloat shirt and the You're Weird shirt. We're moving into other venues and talking with some other people about things, and I really feel like that is a place that will be. By this time next year, Heathen Talk will have branched into several other media things.
I'm not saying it, so.
Yeah, only reason I'm not
was
saying
thinking
it is
it, but I'm
because
not saying
nothing is definite right now. But I do have some feelers out that look really good right now. So we got that going for us, which is nice. What about you, Torn? I'm going to go in order from when you joined the show. So, what about you, Torn?
How's the vision changed?
Yeah.
I don't know. From my point of view, anyway, it really hasn't. I've kind of always approached the show the same way I approach any conversations I have with heathens that I meet, or any conversations I have about heathenry, which is not so much trying to have an overarching vision for how things are going to go, but more along the lines of, oh, this topic came up, so I'm either going to talk about it because I know what the hell I'm talking about, or I'm going to learn about it because I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. And from the very beginning, that's really kind of been where I've been at on it, and where I think I'll continue to be on it, is just that, oh, hey, we're talking about this thing, it's an important thing to talk about, so I'm going to talk about the parts that I know and try to understand the parts that I don't know. I know that sounds like kind of a cop-out answer, but it is what it is.
It is, and I agree. That's kind of been your thing. Mark?
Well, I mean, again, I'm the guy behind the curtain, so I kind of just do what I'm told and sit around and group chat. I mean, I'll go back to what I said before, really. I'd like, with the increase in reach and with the increase in our voice being heard and becoming something approaching not an authority, but a respected platform, I would like to use that to the benefit of, the further establishment of heathenry. And whether it's engaging with people or doing effectively PR, I'd like to look at it and see, and see what we can do from there.
Somebody's got to do it. So
I was distracted by IRC.
yeah.
The question was, how has our vision changed from when we joined, though?
Yeah.
Oh, it hasn't. I have approached this with a singular desire, and that's to make heathenry better. My vision of what that means has refined itself over that time as I've learned I've conducted my own educational and religious journey, but it's been the same. Make it better, and part of that means figuring out what's better.
And I think when it comes down to it, at the core, I think all of us do this because we want to make things better, because we want to be doers and not just keyboard warriors. There's almost every symbol I've been to, the toast has been uttered, hail the doers. And that's super important. I think that's a big deal, and I'm very happy to be a doer. More importantly, it is, I don't know, it's just fun. I like doing this show, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie, I enjoy it. And, when people say nice things to me, it's fun.
Well, got 5 minutes left.
5 minutes.
Let's talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing and where can they find us, that kind of thing. It's been a roller coaster ride of the last year. It's been, exhausting at times and invigorating at times, and I'm glad I did it. And let's see what tomorrow brings.
I agree. I do want to say that Next week is going to be the last episode of season 1. We are going to take 2 weeks off at the end of July because, quite frankly, we all need a break, and it gives me time to, basically, I don't know, most podcasts have a hiatus. We're going to take a 2-week hiatus. We'll be back the first week of August, and we will, we will still be on Facebook at the time, IRC, Twitter. There will still be blog posts going up. There will probably be some backlog coming out, so, and there will still be new Java malls. So we're not completely gone, but, it'll be nice to have a couple of Wednesday nights where I can come home and just do homework, because that's probably what I'm going to do, to be honest with you. But we will be back. Listen, next week is our season finale, and then after that, 2 weeks off, and then we are back, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, the first week of August. So,
what are we talking about for our season finale?
Oh God, don't put me on the spot like this. I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
So, with that, guys, don't forget we do have Heathen Talk swag available on the website. We also have our new Cafe Press store that's on Facebook. I haven't added it to the website yet. Haven't had time. IRC, Twitter. Oh God, there's just so many places that you can go and harass us. So please do so, because we do enjoy talking with you. If you want to catch us live and talk, we do have the IRC, which has been hopping tonight, and I always make the mistake of looking at the IRC while I'm talking, and then I go because I lose my train of thought. So it's going to be like I said, we do this show for you guys, because otherwise we're just talking to each other, and we do that already.
Yeah, really, this is just kind of an extension of us talking at each other anyway.
I don't think we talk at each other.
Sometimes we do.
Yeah, everybody does sometimes, but most of the time I think we have pretty decent discussions.
Toby and I yell at each other.
Yeah, well...
Profanity.
Caps lock engaged.
It's true, and then I yell random song lyrics to him, and he doesn't understand. And then I quote Space Ghost to him, and he doesn't understand.
Okay,
I think it's mostly because your random song lyrics are from weird screamo bands.
Mark,
No.
I don't listen
No,
to
they're
Screamo,
not.
sir.
They're like 90s. They're like late 80s to early 90s.
I mean,
glam
come
rock
on,
and-
Bonnie Tyler was only once. Leave me alone. It was only a total eclipse of the heart. Be quiet.
nothing I can do, a total... Yeah, so anyway, I love that song. I get most of his references, but anyway, I'm just disappointed that Toby doesn't know what Space Ghost is. Like, seriously.
Season
he does.
finale, Heathen Karaoke.
Really, well, to be fair... Okay,
What
by the
happens
way,
when I'm around?
I'm
It's
made
just
aware
fuckery.
that I say to be fair way too much, so I'm trying not to. But I did sing jingles professionally for several years. If you're in South Louisiana or South Mississippi or Alabama, you may have heard me singing about Dodge trucks.
I used to sing Blind Melon at karaoke all the time.
And on that note, I think we're going to call it a night, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for listening. We appreciate it.
We'll see you next week with our surprise topic that we absolutely already know what we're going to do. We're just keeping it a secret from you.
It's our grand season finale.
Yes. Yes. All right, everybody. Have a good night, and remember, you're doing it wrong.
But you're not the boss of me. Everybody have a great week.